Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Cocktails and Rocktails with me, Notorious Groupie, Allison Rouse, author of We've Got Tonight, The Life and Times of Notorious Groupie, and these other books, which I am thinking about adding 2 more books to that Groupie 101 series, guys. Yes, I'll tell you about them in another video. We're going to talk about that soon. And today on our topic, but wait. I always have to start out my videos by being thankful for everybody who is subscribed, who's supporting me, who I'm having great conversations, building bonds with. You guys are awesome, and it truly, truly does mean everything to me that you guys are so amazing and supportive. So thank you guys so much for all the love, support, all the awesome comments, everybody enjoying and just being here with me, and especially to everybody on Patreon. Truly, truly, thank you for that continued support. Really, I can never be thankful enough, you guys. So there you go. Gonna start with that. And today we are gonna move a little bit outside of the rock and roll territory. We are gonna talk about my stripping years. We're gonna talk about, because I meet other girls who were groupies and strippers that worked at different clubs that I actually did feature shows at, which I don't know how I didn't meet them, or we missed each other by a year or so. And we always kind of exchange war stories, so to speak. And we also like to kind of gossip about our famous customers, and that's what we're going to talk about today. My most famous customers I had as a stripper. A little bit off topic. And today's drink is going to be based on one of those. Because he was Mormon, he's a politician, and in Utah, the Mormons break up their districts, their church districts, into what we call wards. So that's what our drink of the day is. The ward. So everybody, grab your wards, kick up your feet, and let's have a little cocktail and rocktail, shall we? Cheers, big ears. And yes. Oh, God. Sorry. Whew. Okay, I put a little bit too much rye whiskey into that, I think. I kind of freeballed it when I made this drink, so I say goddamn. But like I was saying, you guys may notice, what is all this? I'm in a totally different place. Oh my God, yes. And not the black shirt. I know people bitch about that, but we all have our stage clothes, okay? But so yeah, I have a new ring light, obviously, that I'm testing out and kind of moving around my place. So I'm in my sitting room in my house, and yeah, hope you guys enjoy the new surroundings. That's one of my paintings. You guys saw that, and these are other ones that my mom brought back from other countries or old homesteads, and always my cheers. So everybody cheers. All right, so we're gonna start off with my very first famous, we're gonna start with my second one. My first famous one is the reason for that ward cocktail. So we're going to kind of wait for that on a minute. But the first famous guy I ever had, and you guys heard about this story back in the day, you can look it up, was Tony Danza. Came into American Bush here in Salt Lake City where I started dancing. And we didn't have lap dances. We had the glass, where you could go in and give them private dances. No sex, no drugs, no funny business. Everything was monitored. There was 2-way mirrors and stuff. So that's how you kind of got a lap dance and private dances. It was kind of a VIP, no touchy room. So I get Tony Danza in there. I'm doing private dances. He's trying to offer me to meet him. No, that's not going to happen. I never did stuff like that. Because there's just lines you don't cross, So, I mean, for me, to each their own. What you want to do for a living, that is up to you. I do not care, but that is not my thing. I wouldn't even do porn. So he's all trying to touch himself and doing whatever. He's over the pants and kind of thing. And I'm just like, well, whatever. So I'm just ignoring him, dancing on my little pedestal through the looky glass, whatever. He's in town with family. Didn't know that, but he's skiing too. And the next day he went skiing and broke his leg or ribs or something like that. And it was national news. I was like, wow. Surprised I didn't break at some of the fucking positions he was trying to rub him over the pants himself over in the glass. So surprised he made it to skiing, to be honest. So that was my first, and he was totally cool, tipped me really, really well. Absolutely nice guy. Absolutely, totally loved him. Despite the propositioning, you know, but he wasn't an asshole when I said no. He was like, oh, okay, you're one of the legitimate strippers. I was like, yeah, I do features and MTV, VH1, HBO, Spice Channel, Playboy Channel, XTV, Warp TV, all kinds of shit. Anyway. So that kind of, you know, it kind of left me with the, oh, at least he was a nice guy, but are they all going to think that we're all whores? So, you know, time goes on. We get a couple basketball players, Charles Barkley, really nice guy, but real misogynistic. Like, oh, he propositioned me too, but he was like, oh, don't tell me you wouldn't come up to my hotel room for a $1,500 and say you got to fuck Charles Barkley. You know, I said no, because no. Sweetie, I was making $1,500 without that shit on my own that night. So, and when I kept turning him down, he's like, yeah, you wish, I'll get one of the other girls, I'll get one of the, and he did not get any of the other girls, because none of us were like that. We were very kept in control. Like, not control, but we were very made sure, like I said, in the private rooms where you did the private dances, there were two-way mirrors, there were cameras, Vice was stopping by to check us out, make sure we weren't doing anything wrong on stage. Like, yeah, so we were very, very, very regulated here in Utah at the time. And Charles was kind of an asshole, and usually when you get done with the private session, the guy gives you $200-300 tip, you know, nothing, I mean, because he's taking your time up for 2-3 hours, an hour to 3 hours, depending. And a lot of times it's just private time, talking, stuff like that. But so when Charles was done with the 2 hours that he spent begging me to please, please, please become a hooker, no, he tipped me $20. Tried to act like it was a slap in the face. Well, no, the only slap in the face was me turning him down, and I knew that. So didn't bother me. That was my third really famous, and he was still a basketball player at the time. He was in town playing the Jazz. This was in Salt Lake City. And then, again, you know, time goes by. I move up to Seattle. Not a ton of famous people, because a lot of people think that I'm going to mention rock stars. I'm not going to. Because anybody who knows me, who's watched my previous videos on my stripping career, I do not allow the rock stars, the roadies, nobody I know. I don't invite them into my strip club when I was a dancer. Never would, never did. Absolutely, because one reason. He's going to come in with the crew, a bunch of other guys, and they're all going to see you naked. No, ladies, save that nudity for the rocker and the rocker only. Do not ever mix your business with your personal life. Rule number 1. So no, there are no rock stars. There was one time when Robert Plant and Jimmy Page wandered into the strip club I was at in Vegas at Little D's for a week. Oh, I made sure their asses were kicked the fuck out. Said, get out. I was like, no, because I knew Justin and Martin and everybody was, and I saw them walking in. I got the fuck off that stage. I was like, please, guys, go, please. And they left. I do not ever, ever, ever allow. I'm not one of those girls, oh, you should come see me dance. Because the rockers didn't know me as that. I was not a stripper when I started hanging out backstage. So they don't see me as a strip. They don't see me strip. They're not going to see me as a stripper. They just saw me as part of their road family. So little secret, ladies who are strippers, don't bring them into your club. You're not bragging. Everybody's seeing your body. You just became, your value to him as a groupie just went down to back lounge Betty. So there you go. All right. The next one was kind of, oh, well, there was a musician involved in this one, but it was nobody I knew. Believe it or not. At the time, I was living in Seattle, and Drew Barrymore was filming, I can't remember what movie she was filming. I don't even remember, but she was up there with, it was when she was divorcing her husband and nobody knew she was dating Eric from Hole Yet. So I was working downtown Deja Vu, First and Pike, so they wander in, and she's, it's in her crazy wild days. David Letterman standing on the table showing her tits on TV, those kind of days. It was before all that happened, and this is how she became so close with Courtney Love. So I'm just working. It was like a Tuesday night, just boring. And all of a sudden we see them come in, and like when you walk in to the downtown Deja Vu, the bar's here, stage is straight ahead just a few feet, the rest of the club is around here, and the dressing room is right there. And I just happened to walk out of the dressing room at the time. She's just like, woo! And I'm like, is that Drew Barrymore? Like, just like watching a bunny pop by. So I was like, huh, anyway, because I was getting ready to go on stage, so I go give the DJ my music, tell him what I want to dance to, go back and get my stage clothes on, go on stage, do my thing. Well, she comes over after, and she's just being sweet little Drew Barrymore. She's like, oh my God, you were so fun to watch on stage. Would you come dance for me, my boyfriend? You're so fun. And she started pulling me over, grabs my hand, skips over, and we go over, because all the couches, there were table dances or couch dances, and all the couches were along the walls and open. It's not like the Deja Vus where you have the private booths or anything, or the bed dances. Those weren't around yet. I invented that bed dance, bitches. I did. I invented it. And I talk about it in a previous video. I'll put a link down, or the story. I'm just figuring out how to do the story things. Anyway, so she gets me over there, and I lay down the rules. This is a $50 dance. I'll grind it. We cannot go nude, but I'll just flash you. Blah, blah, blah. There's no touching, no sex, no drugs, lots of rock and roll. This was always my spiel, whether it was a $30 dance, a $60 dance, $100 dance, VIP room. That was always said up front. Well, Drew thought because she was a woman, she could get away with touching bits. No. I don't care. Customer is a customer. I don't care what's swinging between your legs. No, Drew. She was a handsy little bitch. And I had to, back off her a couple times. And finally, Eric had to tell her, don't touch her. Trust me. You don't go to many strip clubs. These girls don't fuck around. She's about to knock you through the fucking wall. And I was, because she kept touching and trying to and I'm like, no, your mouth doesn't go there. No, Drew Barrymore. She's mellowed out, obviously, but that's why I don't like Drew Barrymore to this day. She was very entitled. Oh, but I'm a woman, so I have the same parts. I can touch. No, you cannot. You are a customer. Nobody touches those bits of me inside this club. And the only men who touch it outside of the club are the ones I'm dating, sleeping with, a rock star, whatever. So she was kind of pissy and she's like, well, then you can go then, and we're going to go. And her and Eric, and she got bitchy and left. So, bye, Felicia. We didn't care, because we don't give a fuck who you are in the strip club. Majority, 99% of the time, there's always that one little star fucker, wannabe ramp rat type that, oh my God, it's Jimmy Page. The rest of us are like, wallet? And like I said, I don't like my rock stars coming into the club. So, also in Seattle, because he was filming Judge Dredd up there, is when I first met Sylvester Stallone. While he was filming, he would come in every so often and get lap dances. Totally nice guy. And he found me down in Vegas per chance at Little D's when it first opened, and he just happened to be in Vegas. And yeah, just happened. So he continued being my customer a few more times after Seattle. He was like, whoa. And I was like, hey. He's like, VIP? I'm like, yeah. But he was absolutely totally nice guy. Stayed within my boundaries that I set for him. Always tipped beautifully. Always made sure, because I charged $2,000 for an hour in that VIP room. Because I'm giving you my $100 totally nude dances. So he would always give me $35,000 to $4,000. Really awesome guy. Absolutely cool. No disrespect. Have shorter than you think. Shorter than you think. But still solid as fuck. I could bounce off his lap and he would just woohoo. And he was fun. I had a lot of fun with. So Sylvester Stallone, you rock. If I was still stripping, I'd say, come on in, we'll do your divorce party. But I'm not. Because I grew up. I grew out of it. Anyway, so then when I moved down to Vegas, came Jack Nicholson. And I liked Jack. He would, because we didn't have a real private VIP room like they did when I left. The clubs kind of evolved when I was there, and the VIP rooms are now private one-on-one. They're little rooms that are private and not one big VIP room. But at the time, there was still just one big VIP room with a VIP stage, runway stage, at Little Darlings, because Showgirls, Deja Vu Showgirls, and Hustler were not around yet. So he would request that whole VIP room be shut for him. He would tip a lot. He would pay a lot of money and on top of what he would pay me. And he would just sit there for 2-3 hours on every time he came in. And I saw him about 10-12 times. And he would just kick back. Oh yeah, he would like fuck with me. Because he knew the boundaries, he knew the rules. And he would get right, oh, no, Jack. And right before I start, he'd move his hands. Oh, excuse me, I burped. But so yeah, he would kind of fuck with me a little bit, and tease me and taunt me, and just try and push the limit, but I knew he would never go over, and he always had great weed. He knew I never drank at work, but he'd always bring the weed. And he was probably my favorite famous guy that I ever danced for. I loved Jack. And I was not even at work when he came in. In fact, I was at home. I had worked the day shift. It was the weekend, because in Vegas, I worked the day shift on the weekends, because I'd make $2,000 on the day, fuck it, and get to go party at night. The weekends at the Hard Rock were fucking awesome. So Jack, my GM, Jack Zindel, love you, Jack. But anyway, Jack knows what that means. Anyway, so he calls me up. He's like, hey, I need you back to work right now. And I was like, why? And this is the reason I was the queen of the club, because Jack relied on me for a lot of shit. And he knew I would come through every single time, except for once. So he's like, no, Jack Nicholson's here. I need my best girl here now. So I was like, fuck, I just wiped off my makeup, jumped in the shit, rinsed off, did my hair again, put on my makeup real quick, zoomed down to Little Darlings. And that's how I met Jack. So he was like, oh, yeah, okay. He's like, I'm going to keep coming in. So whenever he was in Vegas, 10 or 12 times over the years, I would hang out with Jack Nicholson. And like I said, I loved it. Loved hanging out with Jack. He was fucking hilarious as hell. Always had great stories. Was really fun to just dance for. Like, I mean, just that look on his face, that Jack Nicholson smirk, that smile that I can see why so many women found so sexy, in his aura and everything. He's a lot sexier in person than he looks on screen. You know what I mean? And I really, really loved Jack. All right. We are going to go back to Utah, to the first few years I was dancing. We're going to talk about a certain politician. And this, I forgot that I had posted this on a Utah group on Facebook about Orrin Hatch. That son of a bitch. That misogynistic piece of shit, think women are low-life property Mormon. Because that's what the Mormon men think, especially the old crowd. Women are subservient. Their souls can't even get into heaven because they were women. They need a man for that. So this is, and plus Orrin Hatch votes against everything that helps America. He used to. Ding dong, that witch is gone. Fucking hated him. He was such a hypocritical piece of shit. Greedy motherfucker. And what you guys don't realize is the senators that we send to DC, they don't live in their states anymore. They come once in a while during campaign times. And this was when Orrin would come in and see me. So this is the ward. I keep doing this. I keep taking a drink of that. And oh. Woo, daddy. Okay, anyway. So I'm on stage one night, and I just see, because when you were at American Bush, you walked in, there was a whole reception center, like you did not walk into a strip club. You walked down a long hallway, there was the private dance rooms over here, there was 3 of them right here. Dressing room over here, and then you get to the end of the hall, and a door opens, and there is the actual cabaret part of the strip club. So I'm on stage, and all I see is this light, and you can't really see who's in it, and I'm just like, whatever. And I come off stage, and the receptionist comes out, because they would walk up to the front and say, I would like to book this girl for private dances. Okay. So, Sienna, you have a session, because no, my stage name at the time was Raven Christie. I changed it because when I moved to Seattle, there was a Raven at the Deja Vu I was at. So anyway, says, Raven, you have a session. So I said, okay. So how long is it? Oh, it's an hour. Okay. With the possibility to extend. And she's like, you're going to shit your pants when you walk in there. I look at Christina and I'm like, am I then? She's like, yeah, you're going to shit your fucking pants. So I walk in, I look up, and I shit my pants because there was Orrin Hatch. Orrin fucking Hatch. Orrin, the son of a bitch, greedy, bribe taken, hates all women, fucking Hatch. And you know what he wanted? He wanted me to fucking beat him with his own belt. And I did it. I'm not an S&M person. I'm not that kind of girl. And to each their own, so I don't understand it. But the only thing I understood is how bad he was and what a piece of shit human being he was. That I just, bam, hit him so hard those balls went out of the fucking park. You can call me Sammy Sosa. Yep. So that guy, and this is a guy at the fucking time, was going after Clinton for the Monica Lewinsky stuff in the White House. Him and Kenneth Starr. And I'm sitting there going, what a hypocrite you are. Because, and I told him that. And that was the last time I saw him. He came in like 3 or 4 times. And when he was in Salt Lake City doing his campaign and kiss ass and stuff for the Mormon church and, you know, grandstanding. Because this guy is known, if you piss him off or cross him here in Utah, he will ruin your life. He will fuck you over hardcore. He will make sure you don't work again. Your business shuts down. That's the kind of person he was. So I did not give a fuck that I was hitting him. He wanted it. And he paid me handsomely for it. And the last time I saw him, I told him I just didn't want to see him again. He was such a piece of shit. But you know what? I did see him again a week later. You know why? Because my mom was the top educator in the state of Utah. This is, no, I saw him before that. This is after the first time I saw him. That's right. Because Clinton did anyway, it was the first time he had come in and we had done the brouhaha. And it was George Bush Sr. was running against Clinton the first time. And my mom was a top educator in Utah and very respected in the United States. She was head of United States Education Association, stuff like that. So they wanted people, and plus my grandparents knew the Bush Sr. somehow, I don't know, in some weird peripheral vision, probably having to do with the mining world that my grandfather was part of. Anyway, he was president of Kennecott Mining, my grandfather. But anyway, so somehow we ended up, Mom was like, she could have her family on the receiving line to meet George W. coming off Air Force One here in Salt Lake City during a campaign stop. And you know who was in that line 3 people away from me? Orrin Hatch. And trust me, you have to get vetted by the FBI. They're coming in. They checked, they were like, I'm like, oh God, just don't tell my grandparents what I do. They don't know what I do. So I'm just a waitress. And they're like, yeah, whatever. And yeah, and this whole little reception at the General Aviation, everything. So I'm standing in line. I've got my nice little cute pleated skirt, looking all, and I'm not a Republican. I mean, we're all voting for Clinton, my whole family. So here we are on this, and all of a sudden I see, and we line up, and I see Orrin Hatch. He doesn't see me until we're getting into the receiving line, and we're lining up, and he looks over and he's like, what the fuck is, like, he freaked out, like, what the fuck is she doing here? I'm like, blackmail. Because he would deserve that shit. But he did come see me a few other times. And yes, that actually fucking happened. I wish my mom was still around to tell you. My sister can tell you because we were all there. You know, and because he wanted to get the opinions of education. You know, when they do those reception lines, they're very carefully chosen. Because they want to influence certain areas and look like they're going to be caring about certain areas during their election. So, yeah, the FBI came in and vetted me and everything. And Orrin Hatch, we even talked about it. He's like, woo! Like 3 months later, he was like, I was so surprised to see you there. I'm like, yeah, and I told him the same thing I told you. And He's like, oh, wow, I didn't know that Patty Rouse was your mother. Then, when the governor at the time, Levitz, wanted my mom to be the head of education, Orrin Hatch whispered into his ear, for the state of Utah, no, we need a man, and he needs to be part of the brethren, meaning Mormon. So he fucked my mom over because of his guilt with his daughter and what I told him to fuck off that last time I saw him. He fucked my mom, and that really killed my mom, that she was not appointed the state head of education when Governor Levitz wanted to, but Orrin Hatch had that much power over people because of the church. That's why you don't want church in politics, people. Separation of church and state. Because Orrin used his leverage in the church every time to get everything done in the church's favor and no one else's. So that man was a piece of shit. I enjoyed beating the crap out of him every time. So there you go. There's a few of my famous little strip club customers. Most of them not a surprise. Orrin Hatch, sure, it was a total shocker, but just as shocked as he was to see me on the receiving line at Air Force One. Yeah. Alright, there you guys go. Hope you enjoyed my little babble today. Hope you enjoyed the new background, the new ring light. So we're going to be kind of wandering around my house, see where I like doing my filming the best. Alright guys, thank you again for all the love and support. Don't forget to buy my cheapy little ebooks because, you know, people are like, well, you get paid when we read them for free. Yes, I do. A quarter of a penny per page. So this book, I make about $3.20 every time you read this book. If you're reading my 20-page books, I'm making about a penny. So please buy the cheapies. You can read this one for free, that's fine. But buy the cheapies. Alright, sorry, shameless plug, I know, and that's not me, but, you know. Alright guys, thanks again for all the love and support, and thank you for making all those books #1 new releases. You guys fucking rock. And we will see you guys. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to hit my bells. Hit the share, spread my legs like I spread it in the 80s. And we'll see you guys next time here on Cocktails and Rocktails. Cheers, big ears. I'm not going to cheers you with that thing. It's too strong. So cheers, big ears.